acknowledge me, the one.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kick It to Scoops. I'm your host, Scoops, the sole admin of Scoops. Oh, when the Saints go marching into another W against the Giants. Now, previously to the Giants' most recent game prior to St Kilda, they thumped the Lions in that second half, in that third quarter in particular, like 14 goals to 1 or something like that. And people were saying the Giants were back. Now, I still believe before that game that they were a good side, and they still are a good side after the weekend. But everyone had the narrative that the Giants were back. So if you're one of many that said the Giants were back after that game, you absolutely got to give my Saints the W. Well, the W, they got the W. We got to give them all the credit in the world. What a win. What a thrilling contest. And Liam Ryan, Flying Ryan, what a recruit. He is a star. Liam Ryan, that was the hanger he got against the Swans, where he kicked 5 goals as well. And this week, he kicked 6. That is 22 goals in 8 games. He missed 4 games due to injury or 5. Liam Ryan is flying. 22 goals this year in like 8 games. Simply marvelous. Or 9 goals. 9 games for 22 goals. And 11 in the last 2 games against quality opposition in the Swans and quality defensive trio, or not even a trio, group at the Giants with, you know, Sam Taylor, Ash and Whitfield and Iden and Laverde, who's had a great season at the Giants so far. And the Swans last week with Blakey, you know, and everyone they had last week, Melican and everyone like that. So, or whoever was in their back line, but they've got a star-studded team, the Swans. And that's what the Giants have. And the Saints got the W against the Giants twice this year, and both under 10 points. But very happy. Saints are currently in the top 10. Who would have thought that? Well, I thought that, but a lot of haters and trolls did not like that. We're in the top 10, so keep getting jealous. And people want to complain about our fixture. Get over it. You say we don't leave Victoria in the second half of the season. Yes, that's correct. But we play sides like North Melbourne and Bulldogs and Essendon and everyone like that have home games, and Richmond at the MCG, Geelong and Geelong, you know, and some other Marvel Stadium tenant sides we have in that group, okay, who play at the same ground. So naturally, you're going to play them sides in Victoria because it's their home ground as well. Just like the Bulldogs this week is at Marvel, and that's their home ground as well. So, of course, it's going to be at Marvel Stadium, unless you're North Melbourne and you're selling games to Perth or Richmond to Tassie, and what have you. So, and Gold Coast to Darwin. So, anyway, I'm going to get into all that in Scoop Joe's Bang. We've got Damian Hardwick to talk about. He got warned by Greg Swan, which is funny. He's from Brisbane, or used to be at Brisbane, and Hardwick's at Gold Coast. I'm going to go through all that. The umpiring standards is continuing to be a joke, and we'll go through that in particular games this week. And the Saints recruit haters have gone very quiet. We've got my team of the week, my super coach talk. We're going to review the round just gone and upcoming and everything in between. We're going to start with this. You want me on Cameo? Head to cameo.com/Cooper G. You want me to roast a friend, wish me my birthday, anything at all, cameo.com/Cooper G. And if you know any AFL, AFW players or any state league players, and you want to see them on the channel in a Golden Challenge and or interview, please do send me a message and we'll try and get something sorted. Alrighty. It is now time for that world famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. Well. The Saints haters have gone very quiet. Well, they're chirping. They're all chirp. No facts. They're in la-la land. They're in delusional land. That's where they're at. Now, to all the Saints haters, in particular to the recruitment of the recruits we got. Now, Sam Flanders is unfortunately out for the season with that ruptured Achilles. But prior to his injury, he was having a great season, averaging 24.4 disposals per game. and had 2 of his best games in the last 2 games he played before that Hawthorn game. And he started the year really well as well, with 28 disposals in back-to-back debut games for the Saints. So Sammy Flanders aside, as we now have to talk about the 3 that are still currently active. TDK kicked a goal again yesterday, has kicked 2 goals 4 times this year in 4 separate games for a ruck that partially pinches down in the forward line. But dare to say, he's doing a great job, TDK. You know, he beat Brodie Grundy last week with Rowan Marshall. They were both amazing last week against him. TDK kicked a goal yesterday, played a bit more forward than what he normally does at times, and a bit more time on the bench, but that's okay. He's had a great year and absolutely has been delivering, as Rowan Marshall and TDK is the greatest ruck combination in the competition, because most of their clubs don't have one. You know, Freo got Jackson and the second ruck, whether it's Sean Darcy when he's not injured or Mason Cox. Those 2 latter options for Freo are shit. So TDK and Rowan Marshall are A-grade rucks. Those second names for Jackson's backup are shit. So St Kilda have the best ruck duo in the competition. The fact of the matter is, people say that TDK's numbers are lower than last year. Well, as I said, every week, naturally, it's going to be lower when you're sharing the ruck load now, when some games are 50-50, 70-30, 60-40, maybe 30-70 against TDK. So naturally, his numbers are going to be lower. Each game, he and Rowe change it up every week, depending on the opposition and what's best needed for the team. So he's been a great recruit. You know, Jack Silvani, I'm telling you right now, he's one of the recruits, not only of this year for the Saints, but of the whole competition. Now, obviously, Petrarch is a player that you can't really put in this conversation because, you know, no one's shocked. Well, no one's shocked by Jack Silvani and a lot of other star recruits this year. But Jack Silvani has been, without a doubt, one of the best recruits all year. You know, there was only one game where he was off a little bit. It was early in the year. I think it was the Collingwood game or a Melbourne game. It was one of those 2. However, actually, no, it wouldn't have been Collingwood. It might have been the Melbourne game or the game after that. It was in the first 3 games we had anyway. Outside of that one game where he was okay, but not great, the other games, he's been amazing. Yesterday, in particular, if you watch the game properly, Jack Silvani, so many spoils. He went off his man to, you know, take the risk and spoiled the ball out of bounds or away from the key forward of the Giants that had the ball and everything like that. Like, he just did everything you would ask for in a key recruit and an intercept defender. You know, he took Jesse Hogan to the cleaners. Hogan was shit. I didn't even know that Hack was playing. So Jack did an amazing job in that game. He's done great jobs last week against the Swans. Every game this year, he's been amazing. That one where it was still okay, just not great. But the other games, he's been A-grade performances and shown why we heavily needed to recruit someone like Jack Silvani to help Cal Wilkie and allow guys like Taru and Caminiti to play at particular ends of the ground where they're needed best for the team that game. He's just been amazing. Cal Wilkie, I guarantee, would tell you what a great recruit Jack Silvani has been. And I'm pretty sure he said that on radio yesterday, did Cal. He's just been a great trade acquisition, and he's been superb. Simply amazing as Jack Silvani has been. And, you know, no one can really question his games because he's barely beaten. His spoils, his intercepts, his courage, his bravery. He's been on the field. He's been doing so much great work for the Saints. He's been great. And, of course, Liam Ryan. Well, yesterday, he has been simply amazing. This week, last week, every other week. He has been absolutely amazing. He's been so damn good, and it's great to see the work that Jack Silvani has been putting in. But Liam Ryan was amazing. 6 goals yesterday against... I can't even speak. 6 goals yesterday against the Giants, okay? 5 against the Swans. Prior to his injury, he had kicked 11 goals in 7 games. Kicked a goal in every game he's played. His pressure, he's bringing others into the game, some goal of the year contenders, some mark of the year contenders. In fact, mark of the year, last week against the Swans. That's this one right here. That's easily mark of the year. No one can debate that at all. No one else has even come close to that. Now, Liam has been amazing. He kicked a goal in every game, 11 in the last 2, coming back from a calf injury against quality opposition. He's also very quickly becoming one of the recruits of the year. The point of the matter is, all 4 of our key recruits, Silvani, De Koning, Ryan, and Flanders, prior to Flanders' injury, of course, have been quality recruits, and all 4 of them have delivered. Leaps and bounds. They've been absolutely delivering. And it's funny, every time we win, you hear nothing about those 4 individuals. Now, with obviously Flanders out, the other 3 going forward for the rest of this season. No one talks about those recruits. The only time the media and idiots on the internet bring up those players is when the Saints lose, acting like it's those 4 individuals' faults, which it isn't. We just lost games because we've either been screwed over due to the match-fixing umpiring against the Swans and Adelaide in particular, and others, but they're the main 2. No one talks about them when they've done well, okay? So here's the thing. It doesn't suit the narrative of the Saints haters who always bring up the money and everything, blah, blah, blah. Liam Ryan was great again the last 2 games and the rest of this season so far that's gone past. TDK's delivered. Silvani's absolutely delivered. And so has Liam Ryan. And so did Sammy Flanders. So no one can question, you know, we want to go, oh, you got on a speeding spree. Well, newsflash, everyone, you dumbasses. You have to actually, you got a thing called a salary cap, and you got like a 3 or 4 year cycle. We got to spend that money, and we had underpaid or had a lot of money in the bank going into that last year's cycle. Hence why you were able to pay a lot more to some of these players to bring them in, and they've all delivered. I mean, the salary cap's going up, so naturally you're going to get paid more. The more you join a new club or get a contract extension, that's just natural now. That's how the footy world's going, okay? And that's how life's going with paying and everything like that in footy and sports space as well. So they've all delivered. So I don't want to hear another word out of any uneducated, unintelligent wanker on the internet or on social media or on radio or on TV. All 4 recruits have delivered. I don't want to hear another person say they haven't delivered. People always want to say shit about them, but they've got nothing to say when they do well. And that's most weeks because they're doing well the majority of the times each and every week. And those weeks, no one says a damn thing because it doesn't suit the narrative of the morons with no education on the internet that don't watch football properly. They just try and troll. And they're normally people with no names to their account, their fake accounts, or the idiots that have 0 brain cells. So to the Saints haters, keep crying, keep talking shit, because in the end, you don't know what you're talking about. Simple as that. Now, the umpiring standard in the Saints and Geelong game in particular this week and overall this year has been pathetic. Now, St Kilda had so many calls go against them that they didn't get. There was so many calls that the Giants got that they got. And this just sums up the umpiring in 2026. There was a decision where GWS got a free for, I think it was front on contact. I'm not 100% sure what it was for. But irrespective of that, they got a free kick. I thought, this is a joke. Then 30 seconds later, the same thing happens to us. And I'm thinking, well, they just gave it 30 seconds ago, so we got to get it here. No, we didn't get it. The inconsistencies of the umpiring is nothing but a disgrace. You know, this is just pathetic. The Geelong game, Jeremy Cameron did not deserve those 2 goals. Oscar Adams did the perfect spoil. Eyes on the ball, spoil the ball. Jeremy Cameron got a free for front on contact, and that is one of the worst umpiring decisions all year. So the umpires, what are you telling the players to do? Are you essentially telling them, look, don't spoil it, just don't spoil it. Just let them mark it. Because, gee, that was one of the best spoils in that position this year, and he got penalised for it, Oscar Adams. That is nothing short of a disgrace. But then again, it is Geelong, who are the most protected club in the league, in the world. I mean, I don't see any more clubs get favoured more in any sport more than Geelong do. It is completely disgraceful. Geelong aren't this good powerhouse that people think they are. They are just severely protected, and that is why they're in the position they are always continuing to be. But when the Nuts get cracking in the final series, they shit the bed because even the match fixing can't help Geelong in occasions because they play top quality opposition like the Brisbane Lions and the Swans. And when you play those sides that are on, they're always on and they can't be stopped, those sides. It's as simple as that. So Oscar Adams had a great game in that spoil on Jeremy Cameron, but of course Geelong and Cameron are severely protected. Is it just me, by the way, everyone? Now, Jeremy Cameron's a great player. We all know that. But don't you think he gets a lot of cheap goals out the back from handballing from someone who's got a set shot and he runs past for the handball, or he gets a Joe with the goose in the goal square, or like this one with Oscar Adams, he gets a bullshit free kick where he doesn't deserve it. His other goal he got, his first 2 goals was bullshit. That wasn't a free kick either. But again, of course, he's severely protected. Gold Coast were absolutely screwed over by the umpiring, which now leads into my next and final segment, final topic on Scoops Goes Bang. Damian Hardwick was warned by the AFL for his umpiring comments in the post-match press conference. He's been given a warning by Greg Swan, who's now at the AFL, who was formerly at the Brisbane Lions. And apparently he's been warned, Hardwick, if he does it again, he'll be getting a severely hefty fine. So this is bullshit. I call bullshit here. Yeah, Damian Hardwick sooks a lot. And a lot of the time he doesn't make any sense. But here he does. And I'm going to tell you why. So only a few weeks ago, we had Chris Scott complain about the umpiring, complain about things at the AFL, and nothing was said. Last year, Chris Scott said things multiple times, whether he's right or wrong, and nothing was done about it. Craig McRae, a year or 2 ago, said something about the umpiring, and he got fined for it and in trouble. Now, Damian Hardwick says something, and he's warned about getting a hefty fine if he does it again. The AFL are weak as shit. Damian Hardwick has every right to have a go at the umpiring when it was clearly rigged. Now, Gold Coast didn't play great, but this doesn't change that the umpiring was rigged and heavily favouring Geelong. Geelong are the most protected club in the league in every situation you can think of. You know, umpiring, fixturing, everything. You know, the farm deals, cotton on and all that crap. Well, guess what? We cotton on to your bullshit that Geelong gets severely protected. Damian Hardwick has every right to question the umpiring. He didn't insult them. He was speaking facts. The umpiring is a disgrace. And I mean, I wish every coach did what Damian Hardwick said, and they all get together and go, no, screw the AFL and their bullshit umpiring. Of course, Chris Scott won't be a part of that group of coaches because Geelong are severely protected. Luke Beveridge and the Bulldogs are severely protected. Hawthorn and their arrogant players and club, and Sam Mitchell, they get away with everything and they're severely protected. Hawthorn, Geelong and the Western Bulldogs are clearly the most protected clubs in the league, and Geelong are clearly severely the most protected of all time. It is rigged. Okay, the Bulldogs are also pretenders, so we'll get to that game when we get to that. They are severely protected, and they're shit. The umpiring is a joke. Damian Hardwick, continue to speak your mind on the AFL and their bullshit umpiring. Continue to call out their umpiring, who's clearly rigged. But no doubt, Gold Coast will get compensated with another token academy selection for this. Lift your game to everyone in that. It's pathetic. Now, we're going to add another Scoop Goes Bang, okay? We've got another late inclusion. And this time, it's Kane Cornes. Now, we're about to go 2 weeks without mentioning you, Kane, but you couldn't, you just had to open your mouth, didn't you? Now, David King thought that Max Hall, who, by the way, I had in my top 50 this year, by the way, pre-season, and everyone laughed at me going, one of the worst calls of all time. And now he's being talked about the most improved player in the competition, and according to David King, a contender for an All-Australian selection. So essentially, at least in the squad, which I think he absolutely is in contention to be in the squad. Now, final team, that's up to debate, whatever. But David King raised some good points. He's really up there in score involvements. Is Max Hall, one of the most improved players in the competition. You can name him a half forward. And Kane Cornes had to open his mouth and go, oh, he hasn't been better than this guy, this guy, and this guy. And one of the names he mentioned was Jason Horne-Francis. Well, let me talk to you, Kane. The same guy that you glazed the crap out of statistically has done nowhere near better than Max Hall. They both play very similar roles, okay? They both do. And you can argue, okay, that Max Hall is clearly better than Jason Horne-Francis and a lot of other names that you mentioned, but they're both similar players that have mid and forward time, okay, in a similar level, okay? Regardless of that, Max Hall is clearly in All-Australian selection conversation. He is. Right now, if you ended the season after round 14, Max Hall is clearly in contention. Now, I'm not stupid. I know he won't get a midfield spot in an All-Australian team, but he can get named a half-forward on the bench, and he's absolutely in contention. What mid-forward does what Max Hall does? There's not many that can. And he's in his second season. He's a year and a half in when this season's over. One of the best mid-season recruits all year, in the top 50 players in my pre-season predictions. Everyone laughed at me. I had Ruben Jimby in there prior to his injury. He would be top 50 easily this year. He would have been in All-Australian selection contention as well had he not got injured. So my point is, Kane Cornes, stay in your lane, worry about your own banter club, and if you check the ladder recently, we're above you and we beat you. Hush. Let the people that know what they're talking about do what they do, and you shut your mouth. Simple as that. Yeah. Hope you all enjoyed that edition of the world famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. Righty. Now it's time to go through the Scoops round 14 AFL Team of the Week. From the back line, the pockets, Rory Laird and Jack Silvani. Fullback, N. Murray. Back line, the flankers, Nasiah, Wanganeen, Malira, and Max Holmes. Centre half back, Harris Andrews. Wingers, Harry Sheasel and Sam Berry. Centreman, Jordan Dawson. Half forward line, oh yes, he's flying. He's Liam Ryan and Logan McDonald. Coop, there it is, and a half forward, Cooper Sharman. Sharmanator is him. Forward pockets, Josh Rochelle and Jasper Olga. Full forward, N. Larky Ruck. Max Gorn. Rovers, Will Ashcroft. And the sniper himself, Cozzy Pickett. Interchange, Brent Daniels, Will Setterfield, Brody Grundy, Zach Bailey, and Darcy Wilmot. The emergencies, Lockie McAndrew, John Noble, Charlie Curnow, and James Borlase. Now, the reasons for all my selections, well, I think every selection really, truly speaks for themselves. The majority of them absolutely are locks. I mean, Rory Laird had like 35 disposals, and he just did so well. And Murray absolutely destroyed the Bulldogs forwards. Rory Laird had 35 disposals. The Crows backline was on. I could have even included James Borlase in here, but I just went Harris Andrews. Harris Andrews had his 250th game, so one under Harris, and Eric Hippold, who came back and had his 200th, one under him as well. But Andrews had like 20 disposals and like 12 intercepts and like 7 or 9 1%ers, so he deserved it. Max Holmes had about 800 metres gained at 81% and 30 disposals, so deserves a spot. Naz kicked 1 goal, 2, had like 4 clearances, played mainly half back, high efficiency, had like 3 goal assists and like 9 score involvements, or maybe 10 actually. So the whole back line speaks for itself. Jack Silvani had like 13 disposals, had like 9 1%ers and intercept possessions and a lot of spoils and everything like that. Jack Silvani continuing to do a great job and absolutely deserves a spot in the team of the week. Harry Sheasel had like 12 clearances or 10 clearances. It might have been scoring involvements, getting confused. We kicked a goal and had like 33 disposals. Jordan Dawson, 3 goals in the first quarter, 3 goals and 32 disposals. He was simply amazing. Sam Berry had about 29 disposals, about 17 contested possessions, like 80% disposal efficiency, a lot of score involvements and like 12 clearances. So Sam Berry deserves a spot as well. Liam Ryan kicked 6 goals and was the match winner. So this is self-explanatory. Cooper Sharman, 4 goals, like 16 disposals, 9 score involvements. Absolutely deserved it in Coop. There it is. Sharmanator is him. Logan McDonald kicked 3 goals and 18 disposals. Was a good key asset to the Swans' win over Port Adelaide. Josh Rochelle, it's a Rochelle party for the Crows. 4 goals, 18 disposals. That was probably one of his best games this year, if not the best. Mr. Larky at the Roos, the skipper. He kicked 4 goals and was in vital form for their win over the Eagles by 1 point, where Jake Waterman unfortunately missed. Jasper Algo kicked 4 goals and he was in great form for the Tigers. Max Gawn, 2 goals and 24 touches was the ruck this week. Just Will Ashcroft had 2 goals, 3 and 38 disposals, over 10 clearances and score involvements, and that was self-explanatory. Cosy Pickett, 3 and 32. Deserved it this week, but I do it against a proper team, Cosy. Brent Daniels for the Giants, he was probably their best player. He had 30 disposals, but about 3 score involvements. 3 goal assists and about 8 clearances, so he deserved a spot on the team, Brent Daniels. Will Setterfield, a goal in 34, showing why he deserved to be picked from the start. I know he had some injuries at the start of this year, but he had about 4 games in the side, in the AFL side since round 10 now. Brodie Grundy had 26 disposals, was clearly the best ruck in the Swans Port game, easily knowing that anyone with a brain should not be debating that. Zach Bailey kicked 2 goals and 25 touches. He was really good. Some people weren't crediting his game, but the coaches clearly agreed with me because they named him in the team votes as well, although sometimes the coaches' votes are completely rigged. But, yeah, and Darcy Wilmot had 10 intercept possessions and 26 disposals, that high disposal efficiency, and had a good drive off halfback for the Lions. Lockie McAndrew was great. He was the next ruck until Gawn destroyed Mr. Bryan from the Bombers. John Noble had 30 disposals off halfback, was solid. Charlie Kerner was the next key forward, and James Borlase was the next key defender. Look, I thought about Jake Waterman and Job Shanahan and, guys like that, and Jack Darling, but they all kind of had really quiet halves if you look at their games overall. So they didn't deserve it. Now, every one of these players deserve their selection. People that kind of want to critique it, they can do it in a constructive way. But when they just keep sulking and just single out the Saints players. So I guess you agree with the rest of the team since you want to go through all the Saints players. I mean, Jack Silvani, Naz, Ryan and Sharman all speak for themselves. Liam Ryan kicked 6 goals. Cooper Sharman kicked 4 goals, had 10 score involvements. Jack Silvani had a lot of spoils, and he actually educated himself and watched the game. He was very, very good in the back line. And Naz was part of the game changer at the end as well, and he had a good pass in the pocket where he could have blazed away and had the glory shot, centered it, and I think that was to one of Ryan's goals as well. I think it was his 4th goal or someone like that. They got a goal from it, from his smart plays. So that's my team of the week. Comment down below what you think. I think this is clearly a great team of the week, as it is each and every week. Now, it's time to go through my Supercoach talk. So I scored 1,973. I dropped 1% in the ranking, so now I'm back to top 20%. This is starting to really piss me off that I'm stagnating around this 19 to 21% range for the last 4 weeks. But realistically, there was a week where I went down to top 23, 26%, but then shot back up to this range. So I've essentially been in this spot for the bulk of the year, and it's starting to piss me off. I had Archie Roberts, who got injured. He got 60 points and played a quarter and a half. So he may miss the rest of the year, as he put up an Insta post saying be right back. So I'm presuming that means his season's over. But Essendon will put an injury report out tomorrow, you would assume, even though they're not playing this week. But I still want to see it. But so I'm going to go through my Supercoach scores and everything like that now. So let's go on the screen here for you all to see. Let me get that graphic off for a second. So, Jack Sinclair got 90 points. That's around his score. It's not ideal, but whatever. Naz got 135. I brought him in this week. The week before. He was great, 135. Lockie Whitfield got 99. A bit of whatever. Archie Roberts got 60, considering the amount of time he played. That's all right. That's pretty good, actually, considering what he played, a quarter and a half. Josh Roll got 79. I think it was robbed of about 10 or so points. Will Edwards got 47. Obviously, Dirksen and Bailey McDonald had the bye. Isaac Heaney was my vice-captain, got 104, so not good enough. So I went Lockie Neal, who got 102, but he's got screwed of some points as well. Zach Butler's got 128, very good. Dacos didn't play. Merritt, 109, whatever. Considering he's playing a new role a little bit and mixing his halfback and midfield bit around the ground. Matt Rowell, 101, he was good. Elijah Sardis was great with 73. Rechko, 44. And, of course, I benched the wrong rookie again. Sam Cumming got 61. Ison didn't play the sniper. Hugo Hall-Kahan got 68 and was great. Jackson and Grundy and McAndrew this week in the ruck. Grundy got 119, did great. Got robbed. He should have 150. Lockie McAndrew got 86. He got robbed and easily should have had 110. And Luke Jackson didn't play. This week, Grundy goes to the bench as he's got the week off. And it'll be Jackson and McAndrew for me in the ruck this week. This may be the last week Lockie McAndrew's in my side. He's done a great job for me. 428 from 99k. Simply amazing. Harry Sheasel, 142 was awesome. Petrarca got 93. He was shit. He was lucky to even get that. Bailey Williams got 101. That's great to see. Worth the selection in the team. Zach Bailey, 100. Another great selection from me, as always. Tuke Miller, I brought in. He got 67. He had 8 kicks and 16 handballs. So he still should have got 80. But if he had a lot more kicks, because his efficiency was really good and everything like that. Now, Leo Lombard, he was on 60 at like halftime, 56 or something, and got 80. Thank God his team had to buy early days, so I could, keep him in, because I got rid of Milan Murdoch, who I didn't really want to get rid of, but instead of Lombard, but Lombard didn't have a buy coming up like Milan Murdoch has this week. So, yeah, it was the right move to do. Banfield's stuck in the VFL and Finn McRae stuck in the waffle. I brought in Lockie Ash, who got 130. He was great for Supercoach. A lot of kick-outs and kicks in the back half of Whitfield helps. And normally St Kilda have a defender from the opposition that scores big every week. So smart for me to bring in Lockie Ash, and he scores well in general. So that's my Supercoach score. Comment down below how you win and, what you think of your scoring and everything like that. It's to a point now where you're like, you've got stuff all trades left. But yeah, it's very interesting, that's for sure. And everything like that. I'm going to go through my Scoops Fan Club League. Oh, great. I dropped one spot in that. This is the first time I'm looking at it. So we still got Adam on top. I believe he was on top last time. He's on top by about 300 points. So well done, Adam. Then we got Michael in second. We got Chris in third. Daniel in fourth. So that's the top 4. And let's see where Shane is. He's all the way down the pecking order here. Oh, he's gone up, I think. I think he was 27 last week. Now he's 19. But he was top 5 only about 4 weeks ago. So, Shane, pathetic. Pull your head in and lift your game. I'm still better than you at Supercoach, because I've been screwed over with all my injuries, like a lot of people have, but here we are. Right. Now, before I review the round 14 games, I just want to quickly talk about this, and I should have included this in Scoops Goes Bang. Now, no footballer goes to a game and decides, I'm going to cost my team the game. You won't see that happen. The amount of bullshit I saw Jake Waterman cop recently, like he had a shot to essentially win the Eagles the game in the last minute. He hit the post. It's unfortunate, but that just happens. His goalkeeping this year hasn't been great, but I don't think he needs to be reminded of it on social media posts by cowards and keyboard warriors. Apparently, people went to his Instagram and went on his recent post or something and just shit-canned the guy because these people are salty that he lost the money or what have you. Those are the people that need to pull their head in, especially the cowards on fake accounts that we see all the time on the internet, and people that are in groups that have to be keyboard warriors and have to try and have a go at people because got nothing going on in their sad, pathetic lives, that they have to ridicule people. They're just jealous of people's success. People that make groups about people that do everything like that. Like you see the Waterman thing, like people making, like on fan club pages as well. I saw West Coast supporters sulking about him and everything like that. And these people with the money situations and people on the internet in general that have to bully people because they've got nothing going on in their sad, pathetic lives, and they live in a basement and they're keyboard warriors, cut some grass. And the saying that I've heard be said before is that, if you're having to rip into people online each and every week, critiquing all their posts, insulting them when their team loses, and ripping into them because you don't like them or because you're blocked and everything like that, this is what it says about you people. It says more about you than the person you're criticizing, okay? It shows that you're jealous of other people's success. You just can't fathom that someone else is doing well for themselves, that busts their ass each and every week. They do so well for themselves. And you've got to just sit there on your keyboard and be pathetic losers. Just shows you've got nothing going on in your life. If all you can do each and every week is criticize other people because you're jealous of their success and that you've got to failed, miserable life that you've got to sit there, type away, critique them, bully them, because you've got nothing going on for yourself. So you've got to make yourself feel better. Oh, I'm going to insult this guy on the internet today. Ha ha ha. That'll teach them. That says more about you than it says about the person you're criticizing. So to people that do that stuff, because I know people that do that shit, you need to pull your head in. You're embarrassing. You're just jealous of other people's success because you've got nothing going on for yourself. You are jealous of other people's success because you've got absolutely nothing going on in your life. You're just going to sit there and talk shit and bully people because you got nothing going on for you. Wankers. Right. And we stand by Jake Waterman and wish him all the best as well. So on Thursday night, it was the Western Bulldogs and Adelaide. And, well, the Adelaide gave the Bulldogs a reality check. Another good side that the Bulldogs could not beat. It's as simple as that. They're just not that good. 64 to the Crows, 121. The Crows by 57 points. That first quarter, they were out the blocks, the Crows. Dawson, Thilthorpe, who else? Pedlar kicked 2 goals as well before he got injured. Zach Taylor, I thought, had a good game. He kicked a couple of goals as well. You know, Peatling was very good as well, and Sam Berry is one of their better players on the night with Dawson. And, you know, the Bulldogs had no answers. Every single player at the Bulldogs, there was no good players of the Bulldogs in that game. The Crows were never losing that. They set the tone at the start. You know, they had everything going against them, the Crows, with decisions going the Bulldogs' way and everything like that. Last time, that Selwood dive, that cost Ben Keys a goal. They lost by under a goal. So they got payback on the Bulldogs this time around, and they thumped them. And this just shows that the Bulldogs are way off it when it comes to good sides. Oh, sure, they beat up on the bottom teams. They beat the Essendons, the Richmonds, and what have you. Who cares? That is nothing. Every time they come up against a good side, the majority of the time they lose. Or they get a good team at the wrong time when they got the injuries and whatnot. Like Hawthorn, they got arrogant against them a couple of weeks ago, and they got their reality check, Hawthorn. And now Bulldogs have got theirs. This is just showing that they're always that side. They get overhyped. They finish around 6th to 12th, and they amount to nothing. If they make finals, they go out straight away or in the second round at best in the semi-final stage. They're just not that good. And their big-name players, in this game in particular, were nowhere to be seen. Dawson, Berry, Peatling, and co. gave the Bulldogs a bath in the midfield. Their midfielders, the Bulldogs, were trash. And it's nothing to do with Adam Treloar. You're talking about Marcus B. You're talking about Ed Richards and guys like that that didn't show up at all. You know, the Crows are missing a fair few. Isaac Cummings not playing at the moment. Tex Walker wasn't playing from that bullshit suspension. Rankin wasn't playing. There's about 5 guys. Mitch Hinge as well. And I'm forgetting one. There was a 5th one that isn't playing at the moment. And they're all in their starting teams. So just sport for choice, the Crows. But yeah, they dominated and Bulldogs were shit. Geelong 105 to Gold Coast 60. Geelong by 45. Now, I mentioned about the umpire in this game, and like everyone's critiqued already, and like Damian Hardwick said, it was bullshit. But from the game aside, Gold Coast were in at the start. They started really well, then they just faded away. They kind of stayed in it. But then they should be disappointed that, you know, Ben Long, I don't know how he continues to get a game. He'd have to be one of the most overrated players of the last season, considering all the hype he got last year for those games where he got a couple of good bag of goals. He just never was this good to begin with. He gets a proper defender on him, he's shit. The only thing he's known for now is dog-shotting plays and hitting people and missing goals now. Goals he was getting last year, he's not getting now, or rarely getting now. He should be dropped. Bailey Humphrey, he looked terrible. He looks like a guy that's checked out. Rao, Anderson, and Miller played their part. I thought Jai Murray, a young player for them who's in his 2nd or 3rd game, he was pretty good. And Sam Collins was really good in the back line, but they just... Leo Lombard was good as well, but outside of that, you know, dropping Jared Witts, I don't think was the right call at all. They're trying to keep Ned Moyle at the club, I get it, but if that's what it's taking to keep someone, just play Jared Witts. He's the better ruck. He's an all-Australian level ruck. He dominated in the twos, which you expect that from Witsy. Former captain as well. He's probably on the outer just because they want to keep Moyle at the club. and not having him go somewhere else. But yeah, I think this went wrong at selection as well. The players they selected were not the right players to bring in or take out. But yeah, I think Gold Coast is still a good side. They just had an off night. And Geelong, well, when you play at Shavers and train there, you should be winning games. And when you're severely protected, you should be winning games. So there you have it. Max Holmes was Geelong's best player. I don't think Bailey Smith was that good. People were carrying on a bit. And Jeremy McCarron, as I mentioned earlier, got 2 goals from free kicks that should never have counted. Melbourne 95, Essendon 50. Melbourne by 45. Essendon, weren't good to start with. They came back a little bit. And then Melbourne got a bit ahead. And then that was kind of, I think Essendon kind of did okay at the end, but it was over by then. Setterfield and Salas were some of the Essendon's better players. Zach Merritt as well. Melbourne, it was Pickett, Gawn. I thought Joel Fitzgerald in his debut game from Williamstown in the VFL, the mid-season recruit, he had 25 touches or something. I actually considered him for Team of the Week. I was very close to doing it, considering there wasn't many standout performances this week, so I was considering him on the bench, but went against it. Melbourne lost to Essendon in Adelaide in Gather Round this year, so they're 1-all on the matchups of Essendon. Melbourne aren't that good, though. They beat Essendon, so who cares? North Melbourne 74, West Coast 73 in Perth. The Jake Waterman miss late in the game where they lost the game. I thought the Eagles fought back hard at the end. Larkey and Sheasel and Jack Darling against his old side were pretty good for the Roos, and Dylan Stevens as well. For the Eagles, though, it was Tim Kelly. It was Shanahan who kicked 3. It was Waterman who kicked 3. And were all guys that contributed for the team. But missing Ruben Jimby obviously didn't help, as Darling and Larkey both got 8 goals between them. But heartbreak for the Eagles, but they'll be okay. Port Adelaide 90, Sydney 93, the Swans by 3 points. Heaney, Chad Warner, Charlie Curnow, Logan McDonald, some of the better players for Port Adelaide. Zach Butters, as always, was one of their better players. And Jordan Sweet did not beat Brodie Grundy. Brodie Grundy had 26 disposals. Sweet had 17. Case closed. Right, Sunday, Richmond 80, Brisbane 115. Brisbane by 35 points in Tassie. Look, I thought Richmond held their own. They were actually semi-level with Brisbane in that early stage of the game, that first, second quarter. So credit them for being in it the whole game. Brisbane had that patch in the third quarter where they got away in late in the second and did what they had to do. But I got to give Richmond credit. Jesper Auger was really good with 4 goals. Tim Taranto, 2 and 28 or so, was pretty good. They're missing a lot of players. Kai Anand made his debut and had like 14, 15 disposals as a tall defender, or played as a tall defender, and did pretty well, to be honest. But yeah, at the end of the day, they didn't get it done. Brisbane did what they had to do. Zach Bailey, Lockie Neal was great. Eric Hipwood kicked 2 goals on return from a long-term injury late in last year's final series range. So, look, credit to Brisbane. They did what they had to do, but they probably should be beating Richmond by more than that. St Kilda 96, GWS 88, the Saints by 8 points. What a win. So proud, as I said before, to see Cooper Sharman, Liam Ryan, Naz, Jack Silvani, Max Hall and Hugo Garcia have their moments as well. I thought Campbell Lakey's pressure. I know he only had about 7 disposals, but he had like 7 or 8 tackles as well. And his physicality, his chasing, his pressure, stats that you don't get on the stat sheet is what he and Jack Silvani did yesterday, which really stood out for me. So they did really well. It's just overall a great team performance. The Giants had players that did well on the stat sheet, like Oliver, Ash, and Whitfield, but I don't think they really stood out as much. Same with Brent Daniels, who stood out more than the others. The pressure we put on Hogan with Silvani was elite. Callum Brown and Leckerli were rubbish. So was Hogan. So Silvani, Wilkie and co have to be credited for the work they did on those guys. Liam Stocker, stock take season. The strong presence of Stocker, some courageous marks in the middle of the ground, some risky plays that he did where he took some nice marks. And that's what Liam's in the side for. His physicality, his strength, his pressure. He's not the great kick. He's not a great kick, and he would admit to that, I'm sure. But his strength and power, his tackling pressure, he makes them earn it. And you got to love guys like Liam Stocker. You always want a Liam Stocker type player in your team. Strong, physical, won't let someone get through him. Just, he'll make them earn it. And it's stock take season, and Liam's a great acquisition for the club. We got from Carlton all those years back. Thanks for Stocker and Carroll, who shockingly was let go out of the side a couple of weeks ago, which is bullshit. May come back this week. Filippo played really well on the twos, so pressure's there as well. So we'll see. But the Giants, that's another loss against the Saints this year, and go the Saints. That's what I say to that. Right, let's let's preview the round 15 game to wrap us up this evening, shall we? So, the first game to go through Thursday night at Optus Stadium, 8:10 Victorian time at Optus Stadium, Freo hosting Geelong. I'll be tipping Fremantle in this one by 8 points. Tom Stewart may be back this week. Friday night at People First Stadium, up on the Gold Coast, 7:40 Victorian time. It's Gold Coast and Hawthorn. I'll be tipping Gold Coast in this one by 2 points. They'll bounce back at home, you would think, maybe. We'll see. Hawthorn are still pretenders like the Bulldogs. Saturday at Adelaide Oval, 1:15 p.m. Victorian time. It's the Crows and Melbourne. This will be an interesting game. I'll be tipping the Crows in this one by 8 points there. Hopefully Tex and a few others, Mitch Hinge, etc., are all back. GWS and Carlton, 4:15 p.m. at NG Stadium in Sydney. This is also going to be interesting. Giants and Carlton. I'll be tipping the Giants, though, in this one to win by 22 points. I think they'll just be too good for Carlton. Carlton may put up a fight, but I've got GWS winning in the end. Collingwood, Port Adelaide at the MCG, 7:35 p.m. Victorian time, Saturday night at the G. I'll be between Collingwood in this one by 17 points. I think they should be too good for Port Adelaide. I don't know about a margin, but they should be too good in terms of winning. Sunday at the MCG, 1:10 p.m. Victorian time, it's Richmond and North Melbourne. I'll be tipping North Melbourne in this one by 8 points. I just think they'll be a little too good for Richmond, but I wouldn't write off Richmond at all to be 0 chance, but I'll go 16 points for the Roos to get the win there. And the last game to end round 15 at Marvel Stadium, 3:15 p.m. Victorian time. It is the Saints and the Bulldogs. Oh, this is going to be very, very interesting. I'm going to be tipping the Saints in this one, of course, by 8. No, I'm going to go random number. Numbers I normally choose even numbers. I'm going to go 9 points for the Saints to beat the Bulldogs. And hopefully we can get that W because it'll be a great victory to have. Now, we'll wrap up with this. You want me on Cameo, head to cameo.com/Cooper G. You want me to roast a friend, wish someone a happy birthday, anything at all, cameo.com/Cooper G. And if you know any AFL, AFLW players or any state league players and you want to see them on the channel in a Gold King Challenge and or interview, please do send me a message and we'll try and get something sorted. Thank you and go Saints. And oh, the Saints, are we